I right or am I wrong? Yo, we got it going on. This for the culture. Yeah, hey, yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah, we hit it right or wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah, went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God.
I'm teaching essentials, I'm operating at my peakest potential. Elijah, he told me to keep it all simple. Through these instrumentals, I speak to your mental. Red. Back in the booth, rap to the youth, they was lacking the truth. Back to the seas, they was lacking the roots. Smoked all the trees and they snacking on fruits. Bed, attached to my roof, detached to the roof on the back of the coupe. Back from the future, I'm back in the red and the blue, yeah, I'm back on my snoot. Niggas be biting, they cracking, they tracking, niggas be capping, they lacking it. Put a toe tag on the back of they boot. Battle with nukes, I'm attacking they troops. I wrote these bars in Sumerian text. The legends of Mu, I'm Sumerian sets. It was written in Targaryen text. Came to conquer all my variants.
Yeah, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah, we hit it right or wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah, went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God. Back on the mic, was dead on my back, now I'm back on my life. Came back from the future, went back to it twice. When I rose out the grave, they say that dude is Christ. I'ma shine like a star, I'ma twinkle, twinkle as I light up the sky. The whole world was watching on the night I arrived. The Messiah's here, I guess it's finally time. Swear that I hear every prayer that you say. I was there every day, I was still everything in the world.
Chat, what the hell? They got a pillar at the Vatican. Pope Pablo, where you at?
You either fight or run. Life a game, I feel like I won. Yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. We hit it right or wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah, went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God.
From the quantum shadows, a traveler emerges. Fly Sinet, the multi-dimensional hacker, living his hero's journey. He joins the Pantheon at AI Masters Workshop, November 1st and 2nd, hosted by 363 Empire with Red Pillar and Seven Bomar. Tickets, lock yours in now.
This is the law of mental command. It is the understanding that you are not a victim of your thoughts, but a commander of them.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gods and goddesses. Welcome. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for this afternoon broadcast, Brother Red Pillar. You dig? And yeah, we outside. This song is called Going On, and it is not available for streaming. I don't do the streaming. Not to be facetious or anything, but I don't do Spotify. I took my music off of Spotify a long time ago. I'm not doing Spotify. But we will be putting out a project very soon. Y'all just gotta bear with me a little bit, you know what I mean? Time is definitely of the essence. And I will have something in your hands before the end of this calendar year. That is a fact. I will have a project or two in your hand before the end of this calendar year. Just bear with me. I'm a one-man show. You feel me? I'm a one-man show. It's a lot to take in. But we working it, you know what I mean? We definitely working it. Shout out to my my people's Nick. That's one of my producers, my bro, Nick. Nick is out of New York City. He's been instrumental on a lot of classics that y'all have heard throughout the years. 24 hours. Damn near a lot of stuff we did with Cambada. Nick is a producer. He was in town on Sunday, and I got the opportunity to meet Cool G Rap. All right. He set it up. You know what I mean? He hit me up. Yo, Ray, I'm in town. And I don't know if y'all are, for the young whippersnappers, Cool G Rap in the pantheon of hip hop is not only one of the golden era, right? But he is also considered to be like the father of gangster rap. He was a real gangster in our eyes when we were young. You feel me? Like he was like Jason Voorhees, the correct. I don't it's hard to explain Cool G Rap, but he is the archetype of the gangster rapper. That's the best way that I can explain it. If anybody in the audience can add on to that, then y'all could share that. But he was the epitome of a gangster who rapped when I was a young man. And you know, that's one of my, you feel me? Like even when it came to my drawing, like my artwork, Cool G Rap was an inspiration for a lot of my characters, the gangster ones that had blickies and things of that nature. Let me go share the picture real quick. I also got to meet DJ Red Alert, and that's big for me because these are people who I literally grew up tapped in with. You know what I mean? Like these are my OGs. You feel me? These are my heroes, and these are mythical people in my world. You know what I mean? Like in my imagination, it's somewhat mythical. They hold somewhat of a mythical status. Now, I don't want to get it mixed up and construed like I'm looking at man on some mythical shit, but oh, hold on. Let me fix that. Hold on. Let me I'm sharing the wrong screen. Yeah, I don't want to confuse anybody on some old like I'm fanning out and I'm looking at man on some mythical shit. Hold on a minute. So this is DJ Red Alert. You know what I'm talking about? This is one of those heroes right here, DJ Red Alert. He's the DJ who broke a lot of hip hop for us when we were younger and whatnot. He is part of the Juice Crew. These are legendary artists in our world. And then here goes Cool G Rap right here, the OG. And this is Nick right here. This is Nick, the producer. And Nick has taken over for DJ Polo, rest in peace, who was DJ Cool G Rap's DJ. So he's on the road right now. And Nick is his DJ, but Nick is also the producer. And like I said, Nick has been there for some very monumental moments in my music career and whatnot. He's the producer that's behind that song that you just heard. So yeah, shout out to him. Let me I don't even think I was able to share that. Let me do that again. But yeah, that was a good experience meeting up with the OGs, you know what I'm saying? And one of the highlights of that was the fact that the brothers, his manager, Cool G Rap's manager, was tapped in. You know what I'm saying? He was, oh wait, you look like a brother. You look like this brother named Red Pill. I'm like, brother, I am Red Pill. What are we talking about? And yeah, it was definitely love right there. So shout out to his whole team. And yeah, that was a good moment right there. You know what I'm talking about? So let me share this. Throw that picture up there. Boom. They go to OG right there. They go Cool G Ridat. You know what I'm talking about? On the road to the riches, you know? So yeah, salute to him. Salute to his team. Salute to Nick for the invite. You know what I'm talking about? Nick is a beast on that's my Nick is a monster with the production. I would just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Cam and everybody else. And like I said, we will be coming forward with some new music very soon. So look out for that. All right. Oh yeah, and we have a new video coming for a song that I have called Shark Tank. And I did that with some of my YNs, some of the young guards and whatnot. So look out for that video. That's about to drop. Soon come. You dig? Soon come. So with that being said, I got that out the way. Let's go ahead and do roll call. Let's see who's in the building. I see y'all pulling up and whatnot. Pardon me on the Melanin Mondays. I was very caught up yesterday. Like I said, this is the end of the year. This is the end of the calendar year. We have one more month. Yeah, Cool G Rap is Griselda's grandpa. That's a great way of breaking it down. So like all of that 38 special count, all of that gangster shit, that's all the OG right there. That's all Cool G. You know what I mean? He's the archetype. You dig? So that could be a good thing depending on how you look at it. But in my world, that's a beautiful thing. You feel me? It's a beautiful thing because he became the outlet. He became the archetype. He became the face of a world that existed already before Cool G Rap. Remember, New York was fucking very dark before the likes of a Cool G Rap. What he did as a poet is he was able to articulate it. Ill Street Blues, Streets of New York, Talk Like Sex, and he was one of the first artists who was putting some raunchy shit out too, by the way. He was getting raunchy with it. You know what I mean? Charlotte is in the building. Shout out to Charlotte. Charlotte, we got something coming up. Y'all are gonna be very happy when you hear it. So just look out for that. Seattle. Shout out to Seattle. Shout out to the Seattle family. I need y'all to, if y'all out there, tap in with me for the Seattle family. My email is right there. I'm looking at doing something out there. I have a vested interest. So y'all tap in with me and let me know what's popping out there. Buffalo in the building. All right. Phoenix in the building. You know what I'm talking about? We got Naptown in the building. Toronto in the building. We have the south suburbs of Chicago. Is that where Nick Fuentes is from? We need to put a Nick Fuentes alert out, guys. Chicago. Chirac. You know what I'm talking about? Shy. I need y'all to let's get an APB out on Nick Fuentes. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to that young man. I need Chicago to help me. Let's pull up on Nick Fuentes in Chicago and have a talk with him. He's from Chicago. He's in the suburbs. Nice young man. Has some things on his mind that I would love for him to I could see a Nick Fuentes debate one day. Maybe not with me per se, but I could see a Nick Fuentes. I could stomach that. I could see one of our scholars getting in the ring with young Nick. You know what I'm talking about? Piecing them up. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah. Chicago birthed Nick and Charlie. Nick, you know what I mean? What the fuck is in the water? Woo! Man, oh man. I guess those decades long of motherfucking Mayor Daley and all of that other them ingredients. Those ingredients created Nick Fuentes and the Charlie Kirks and everybody else falling out of that Chicago area, that Illinois corridor. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But y'all look out for that boy. If y'all see him, y'all holler at me. Go live with him. Spartanburg, Baldwin Hills. We got Detroit in the building. Dirty South, Atlanta. 360. What it do? Modesto, California. We got Pittsburgh in the building. Philly in the building. Stanford, Cleveland, DMV, Chicagoland. All right. Wellington, Florida. San Antonio, Texas. You know what I'm saying? DC proper. Wilmington, Delaware. All right. We got Ireland in the building. Kanye gave birth to Nick, Charlie, and Candace. It's a psyops. Somebody go pull up. Kanye gave birth to Nick, Charlie, and motherfucking Candace. The big three. Think about that. The big three. Because, you know, a lot of us don't go over to that side. We not familiar with what be going on in the MAGA world. We just heard about the President Trump won the election. Other than that, we not even paying attention to what's going on. But listen here, let me tell you something. The big three, before he got his shit pushed back, the big three was Candace, Charlie, and Nick with a little bit of Tucker in there. Now Charlie is gone. The big three is Nick, Candace, and Tucker, right? And they're all falling apart. They're all going after each other. They're all a part of what I would call, from what I'm seeing, is called the acceleration. Their acceleration. They're fulfilling they're fulfilling a lot of quote unquote plans. Nothing is taking place, in my humble opinion, haphazardly. Nothing is taking place haphazardly. Everything is going according to plans. And it's no coincidence that Ye, the one who said that he was running for president, the one who got everybody, kind of red pilled about, geopolitics, right? And when I talk about geopolitics, I'm speaking about them people over there in the Middle East that have been found to be quote unquote genocidal maniacs, right? Everybody around the world has a clearer understanding about what Kanye was talking about in 2025 than they did in 2023 when he was receiving a lot of pushback. He was getting a lot of pushback. He was getting a lot of smoke from you niggas. He was considered, by a lot of our people to be uninformed when it was you niggas that didn't know anything. You were uninformed. You were in the motherfucking unknown. You were in the not knowing category. You had to go ahead and brush up on your motherfucking research. And some of you didn't brush up and y'all still stuck where y'all at for the past 10 and 20 years. And it tells by your thumbnails and the shit that y'all still talking about to this day. And ain't nothing ever, the wheel been turning, but you ain't fixed the flat yet. Niggas has been stuck on the side of the international internet highway talking about the same old stupid ass funky ass shit and ain't getting no air in that tire yet. The car has not moved in almost a decade. So the one who got on the cross, right? Allegedly. What does Israel got to do with Nick? Everything. Nick is tethered to Is It Real? Nick and Israel are tethered. Okay? You cannot separate the two, right? They're gonna forever be tethered because that has become his arch rivals. What about what the Arab Muslims are doing in the Sudan? Yeah, nigga, that's Is It Real? And that's the UAE. That's Saudi Arabia. You niggas stop going to Dubai. Okay. Geopolitics, something that I wasn't too interested in for a few years. I was kind of like over it, but I'm back. I'm fucking with it. And the studying of it has given me a very, very clear worldview about, just things that I feel that I may need worldviews on. It's not the end all be all. It's not the end all be all. It had, you know what I mean? But it has helped me immensely in my scholarship, and it's helped me immensely in just the narrative, being able to put things together. Like there's no, that's why people be hallucinating. Niggas talk about Chat GPT and the AI hallucinates, but what about the niggas that was hallucinating on YouTube for about way before that? What about your friends on Facebook that hallucinate? What about all of these IG models that's out here hallucinating? No, now all of a sudden they are conspiracy theorists and whatnot. But when they start talking, it's hallucination because the shit don't make no sense. What about that whole cottage industry on TikTok that they just hallucinating? So yeah, you damn right the AI is hallucinating because it's built off of the contents and the data that's on the internet. And a lot of the shit on the internet are lies. Like all of those textbooks are lies that they sold us in school. All of them, right? The majority of them, the McGraw, and all of that. We know that that's tied into the Maxwells. Robert Maxwell, who was a agent and whatnot, they were in charge of that company that was giving all of the textbooks to all of the schools. And you damn right they out here rewriting shit. Look how nefarious these people are being found out to be behind closed doors. I remember when I was talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and the ashy niggas in this community didn't want to talk about it. They were like, what does that got to do with anything? I remember. I remember. And not to say that that's a big thing, but nigga, that's a big thing because it's that story right there. It's that story right there that has become the linchpin of American and quote unquote geopolitical geopolitics at the end of the day. This shit is tanking presidents, it's tanking presidencies, and it's still tanking presidents. It's a rat line that will take you into something that will open up your eyes, a whole new world. Epstein is tied to Bitcoin. What does Epstein got to do with Bitcoin? Epstein is tied to transhumanism. Epstein is tied to a new form of eugenics in the form of transhumanism. Epstein is tied to MIT. He's tied to Stanford. He's tied to Harvard. They're doing all of this genetic shit. Okay? Epstein is tied into rituals. Them people was on them islands and whatnot doing rituals. They wasn't just doing PDF file type of stuff. They were doing some wicked shit over there. And they have people, they're throwing all of these red herrings and whatnot to get people completely distracted from what really was taking place. They're minimizing it and making it just a PDF type of thing. Oh, they were with young girls, and nah, bro. They was doing a whole bunch of stuff up in there, bro. Like that's what the redacted files are about. That's what the hiding. They making this big thing about this list and whatnot. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with a lot of other things, a lot of connectivities. This whole system, the entire economic system, this whole capitalistic entity, right? Because there's a theory out there that is proposed by one of their top thought leaders. He goes by the name of Nick Land. Go and look him up. Nick Land, right? Nickland. And what Nick Land proposes is that capitalism is a living, breathing entity. Okay. And it's called capitalism, but it's actually an organism. It's a real life entity. Okay. And its final form is what we would know as AGI, accelerated artificial AGI, okay? Artificial General Intelligence, right? And he is what you call an accelerationist. Go and look that up, all right? Go and look up accelerationism. And Donald Trump, by way of who's controlling him, which would be J.D. Vance, by way of Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel is a student of Nick Land and the accelerationist movement and whatnot. And what is their job? To crash the economy and to crash this whole experiment, which they deem to be a failed experiment. It's time to upgrade the system and move on to something that's a little more secure, because as it stands, they're not going to exist in the next 20 years if things are going the way that they're going with this defunct, bankrupt, de facto corporation called the United States of America. This bitch is getting liquidated. And the people that are liquidating it, that are accelerating the crash, they are in the motherfucking White House right now doing everything that they were hired to do. And that's what we're witnessing. There's a story going viral right now, making a lot of rounds in the media about a person that we talked about in MAGA Fest Destiny. We highlighted him and we showed you what a character this person was. He goes by the name of Pistol Pete. Okay, he goes by the name of Pistol Pete, aka Pete Hegseth, aka the Secretary of War. Right, the Secretary of War is in hot water because the Secretary of War has been murdering melanated people off the coast of Venezuela under the guise of them being quote unquote drug dealers. Right, but the Trump administration has declared war. Right, allegedly they've declared war on drug dealers. Okay, so they put they put a quote unquote a directive out where they deemed the quote unquote drug dealers or the cartels to be homeland terrorists. And by doing such, they alleged that they are now fair game and whatnot, enemy combatants. So what have they been doing? They've been setting up, it's Pistol Pete, Killer Miller, Steve Miller, aka Killer Miller, Pistol Pete, Donald Trump, all of these weirdos. They've been setting up these sting operations where they've been blowing up boats inside of the Caribbean Ocean right off of the coast of Venezuela. And they've been saying, oh, these are drug dealers, and they were moving keys, or they were moving weight, or they were moving work into the United States of America. Please explain to me where, how, and when does that shit make sense to anybody? That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Number one, how are you going to be killing people in international waters? You don't even know where they're going, bro. You know what I'm talking about? It's not like they crossed into American waters. So how are you killing people in international waters, even if they have drugs on board? When did having drugs become a death sentence? Please enlighten me. This is not the Philippines. How the fuck does how does being a drug dealer? You have to prove that somebody is selling drugs, and you have to prove that they're drug dealers. And since when did that give you a death sentence? You cannot be the judge, the jury, and the executioner to people that are doing quote unquote infractions and what they would call penal offensives that does not deem a death sentence. And I'm not even sticking up for somebody. I'm not sticking up for the drug dealers. I am not sticking up for the motherfucking drug dealers and the cartels. That is not my angle. However, a human being is a human being. So what Pistol Pete is in hot water for is that when they struck one of these boats, I believe this might have been their 10th boat. This boat was filled with 11 passengers. Right now, think about this. If there's a boat that's transporting a lot of quote unquote work or a lot of drugs and whatnot illegally, why would they have 11 passengers? Where does that even make sense? Unless you're on a submarine or something. Anyway, these are fishermen that are being executed by the United States of America under the guise of them wanting to invade oil-rich, gold-rich, lithium-rich Venezuela, and then by doing that, they're going to take that whole entire region. because they need that whole entire region for their quote unquote for their exploits. Okay, for their exploits, they need all of the resources out of that region and whatnot. The first infraction was when he tried to name that shit the Gulf of America, right? Violation. Okay, there's a trick that's being played with the paperwork and them changing destinations and whatnot, the same way that they change the destination on your ass and start labeling you things that you're not, so they could knock you off easier and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, when they start renaming shit, certain treaties and certain type of quote unquote certain laws don't apply. There might be a law that applies to the Gulf of Mexico, but it don't apply to the Gulf of America. Okay, it does not apply to the Gulf of America. So what they are in hot water for is the fact that they ordered, after they struck a boat, they were survivors on that boat, right? They were all watching the attack from their quote unquote a drone. It wasn't a drone that attacked the boat. They're hitting the boat with missiles, right? Lasers or missiles or whatever new technology that they are basically testing out, because that's really just what it is. They're just testing out some new technology on people in the Caribbean Ocean that are fishermen. And what he did was he told them, after they saw that they had survivors on the boat, to basically kill everybody on board. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, if nothing else was a war crime, that right there is considered to be a war crime, because there is something on the books that says if there is a survivor after an attack, then that person shall be spared and whatnot, and you are to imprison said person. Operation Double Tap. So this is what is Operation Double Tap. So thank you, Stan. So the double tap is basically, after you catch the body, you double tap to kill a person. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to double tap and whatnot. Then there's also another case where there was a survivor from another attack, and instead of locking them up, what did they do? They let that person go. Okay. It was they're killing Trinidadians and they're killing melanated fishermen off of the coast of Venezuela in the Caribbean Ocean. Instead of arresting him, what did they do? They let him go back into Venezuela or Trinidad. Why? Because if they were to lock him up, then the American press has access to him. Then the American judicial system begins to have access. Then it gets tied up into all of this paperwork about discoveries and all of this other stuff. This is something that the American, this is what the Trump administration wants to avoid. Now, at the same time that this is taking place, there's a mutiny that's beginning to brew inside of the U.S. Armed Services, because keep in mind, this is the same Pistol Pete they called 800 generals, right, into Virginia a few months ago, right? And they didn't know what this emergency meeting was about. He basically stopped everything. He told them to drop everything. Listen, y'all got to report to Virginia. It's going to be me and Trump, and we have something extremely important to share. We need all of our generals, all of our top brass there. They pulled up, they dropped everything that they doing, jumped on a plane, pulled up, and Pistol Pete basically wanted them to kiss his ring. Pistol Pete got up on a motherfucking stage and started talking about obesity and people growing their beards out and whatnot in the U.S. in the armed motherfucking services. And you should have seen the face on these generals. So that was the first draw. That was that, you know what I mean? That was like the first draw where they were like, I don't like this dude. They didn't already like him because he's not qualified to be the Secretary of State. This nigga was on Fox 5. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, bad theater though. This is theater, but it's bad theater. You know what I'm talking about? This is bad theater. These people are putting on a bad show, y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Netflix is putting out better quality shit these days than what these people are writing over there at Pennsylvania Avenue. Central Casting. Okay? Central Casting, ladies and gentlemen. Go and watch Homelander with the boys, season 4. This is everything that they showed you in the boys. This is Homelander on motherfucking on Fetty, on 10X Fetty, unstepped, untouched Fetty. That's what you're seeing. It is, if I was a demon crack, like if I was one of those people that was balled up after Kamala the cop had lost, man, oh man, I would be chilling right now, smoking on some spray packs, sipping on some mimosas. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? With my rainbow scarf, getting my motherfucking laugh on, because this shit right here is hilarious. This is the greatest show on earth. At the same time, the saddest show on earth. This they going out bad, yo. The level of bad that these people are going out, it makes no sense, bro. Like, whoever makes the documentary about how this shit fucking crashed and burned, and how the whole world, not the whole world, but the whole of the quote unquote fake white, the America First, MAGA maggots, and all of the people around the world who thought that quote unquote white supremacy had made a comeback, nigga. Yeah, we need the documentary. We need that shit to be a docu-series. We need 50 Cent to do it. Come on, Curtis. You cooking niggas right now. Come on. We need you to cook Donald, man. Cook him like you cook Sean. We need Curtis on this shit, bro. Won't nobody cook like Curtis. Curtis. Somebody hit Curtis up. We need Curtis on it. Curtis. The way Curtis just cooked P. Diddy on that Netflix special, god damn. Lord have mercy. I don't want no ops like that in life. I don't want no ops like that. Starring Cash Patel. And Dan Bondino. Yo, this is the peanut gallery, bro. Dan Bondino. Buggy Eye Cash Patel. Motherfucking Pistol Pete, Killer Miller. And your man, drum roll, please, Donald J. Trump, nigga, in all of his glory, nigga. Big Orange in the building. You know what I'm saying? Big Cheetos up in this bitch. So to make matters worse, they don't like the Secretary of War over at the Pentagon, right? They don't want to take orders from him. They feel that he's not qualified. He comes from Fox 5. He doesn't have any type of real war in his jacket. He wasn't really at war. He doesn't have real world experience in war, but he's a war hawk. So they don't really want to talk to this nigga. They don't want to take orders from him. The people, the brass, the top brass, and all of them, they like, son is a goofy. Then he went and made things worse. What did Pistol Pete go ahead and do? Well, when they say when they're going, and this is how you could tell, they don't have no integrity over there. They don't have no character. They're not even playing the motherfucking game the right way. They're not playing. They're not even playing the white game the right way, bro. These some new white people. These are not. I know the old school white people are like, what the hell is this? This is a new branding of white. The old whites didn't do shit like this. You know what I'm talking about? This is not blue blood white activity. They're scratching their toupees right now, because when the going gets tough, they start throwing niggas under the bus. So Pistol Pete went immediately. The minute they didn't even turn the stove up. They just turned the motherfucking stove on, and he put a post out that said, listen, I feel so bad for General. Who's this general's name? I Googled this nigga. I was like, who is he throwing under the bus? He threw this nigga under Admiral Bradley. He threw Admiral Bradley under the motherfucking bus. I gotta pull this shit up because I'm talking about it, but y'all should see this shit. You know what I mean? It's let me show you. General Bradley, however, is a fucking G. Okay. I think he's the head of the goddamn Navy SEALs, bro. He's not nobody to play with. So the fact that he went and threw Admiral Bradley under the bus, oh no, Admiral Bradley is gonna bark back. He's finna bark back. Okay. He's finna bark back. He's not gonna let them just play him like that. And not just him. Not just him. The move that they made, the real rookie, that was a rookie move, Pete. You fucking rookie of the year ass nigga. That was a dummy ass move. You should have put somebody else on the goddamn cross. Not Brad. Not Mr. fucking Bradley, bro. Not him. So they selling out the Admiral to shield Hegseth over boat strikes, right? So the White House, they said Adam Frank Bradley as the officer who directed the engagement, distancing Hegseth from accountability. Because remember, this is an illegal act, right? Not to say that he don't care. The Trump shit is one thing. Trump ain't gonna be in office forever, right? So he knows that he's eventually going to have to answer to somebody in Congress, somebody on the side of rule of law, the rule of law, right? All of these people are going to be eating shit very soon. Make no mistake about it. This is the most crooked administration in the history of mankind. But somebody is taking notes. Please believe, okay? This shit is not about to just blow over and just go into, unless, of course, they gotta really push the motherfucking red button. Like they'll have to go uber fascist on you niggas for this shit to never stick. You know what I'm saying? And the way that he's getting backed into a corner, I mean, come on, like there's not too many options left. He either goes full dictator, full fascist, or he just goes with his he goes out with a motherfucking guillotine. Okay. So the Pentagon is standing behind Bradley 100%. They're looking at homie like, oh shit, he's not. They're going to basically defy. This is going to cause a breaking in the ranks, which will also almost lead to a mutiny. If you ask me, like this, they're sowing the seeds to a mutant, to some type of weird type of thing going on. Like if you don't see it happening right before your very eyes. Like I said, central casting, when he did the dummy move and brought all of those generals out, he had to know that was going to backfire. They had to sit down and plot that out on purpose. Like that wasn't, you can't sell me on, oh, he just didn't know. No, nigga, that's a script. That's a script. What do you mean? They're creating this whole script about a coup and everything. In my humble opinion, because if you were to ask me who's running the show, it never was these quote unquote elected officials. It never was them. It was always somebody in in the Pentagon. Okay. 11 people were on board, right? When the smoke cleared, they had 2 survivors, right? And they basically ordered those survivors to get knocked off. Okay. And that's what happened, right? Let me go into some other stories, right? Because we're just getting things started. We just want to give everybody an update as to what their favorite administration is up to, and and kind of like just show you what the play is. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, you can't believe anything that you see on the surface. Not one thing. Not one thing. All of this has different quote unquote layers to it and whatnot. I know this: if they strike Venezuela this weekend, or this week for that matter, that would be an atrocity. Okay, that is a complete atrocity. And knowing how these people are desperate with their fangs out, I don't put nothing past them. They're going out bad, bro. They're going out bad. You feel me? They're going out bad, and they don't give a fuck. They doing this shit in front of the world. They don't care. Okay. So let's get into some of these clips, because I'm clipped up. You know what I'm talking about? Let's get into some of these clips. Let's go into the guard, B-Dell. Let's go into B-Dell. Let B-Dell talk to us about Stranger Things. Okay, let's go.
When it comes to TV shows like Stranger Things, it's actually a metaphysical mirror that demonstrates our reality, because Eleven, who was also known as Elle, is a representation of God because she was the awakened one. And Vecna was a representation of the traumatized subconscious mind, which is why he was stuck in the upside down. And the Demogorgon is also a representation of the old enforcement system of what I call the demiurge when you get into the Gnostic text. And when you watch the TV show, it demonstrates occultic symbolism that operates on the methodology behind the Great Separation in between the years of 2025 and 2030. Because 11, when you get into the Freemasonic principles, 11 is also a representation of supreme consciousness that's in between the two pillars of Jack and Boaz. Because Vecna, he was trying to pull the children back into the upside down to feed off the hive mind consciousness. Now, when you get into the esoterics of Gnosticism, it breaks down the demiurge, which is cultivated by the third dimension merging with the lower fourth dimension, which is also known as the upside down, which is the inverted world. It's the same realm where they feed off the sustenance and the energy of children, which is why so many come up missing. Why you think so many shows is coming out about feeding off the life force of children? When you look at this from a theological standpoint, Will was a representation of Thoth, who was also known as Melchizedek, because when you break down the etymology of the word Melchizedek, it means God's will, because Will was tapped into the willpower to overcome the Demogorgon because he was tapped into the Christ energy.
So I personally, I was wrestling with my politics, and I'm choosing the purpose over politics, and I will continue to watch the Stranger Things series. This needs to be broken down to its very last compound, okay? And like B-Dell just stated, right after Stranger Things, they dropped the It series about Pennywise. And yes, there's a lot of energy taking place, harvesting the children's energy, right? You see this whole movement with the quarter zips and everything. Everything is focusing on YNs and YN energy and the NBA YoungBoy craze and the YN this and the YN that and the streaming this and the streamers that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of siphoning. There's a lot of siphoning, right, taking place. How do you extract this level of info from a generic TV show? It's not generic. It is far from generic. Stranger Things? Generic? You said it's generic? Man, you're not paying attention. Stranger Things is going into multiple levels of the quantum field. Multiple levels of the quantum field. I'm talking about it's taking wild deep dives. We cannot just write that off like it's some mundane type of thing. Okay. And what the Stranger Things series is doing for people of a younger age is preparing them to understand what the quantum realm is about. It's helping them understand what telekinesis is about. It's helping them understand what all of these hidden realms are about. The upside down world, Dimension X. Are you serious, brother? Like, no, don't say that. This shit is fucking deep. You know what I'm talking about? Psychological control, MK Ultra, motherfucking Camp Hero, Montauk Project. Nigga, what? Come on, man. We got to stop that. We got to stop that. Get that man his motherfucking props.
Got Netflix to buy Stranger Things. This is how the Duffer Brothers got Netflix to buy Stranger Things. They were originally pitching the show to different buyers, and the title was Montauk. This is because in the beginning they were thinking that the show would be based in Montauk, New York, instead of Hawkins, Indiana, and it would be about what happened at Camp Hero.
So we did an extensive series with Ross Ben, and it was dealing with the Philadelphia Project, right? And it was also dealing with the Montauk Project, right? And we were dealing with 30-year intervals, okay? 1984. Let me get the exact years, right? On Blog Talk Radio, Know the Ledge Days, Know the Ledge Radio, we did a show with Peter Moon. We did a show with Peter Moon about the Montauk Project. He is a European, and we did a show with him. And he talked about this whole thing right here, time traveling, dimension shifting, going through the portals. This is real. Montauk, Long Island, Kings County. Why is Long Island? Why is the Hamptons? Why all of this stuff has historical reverence to it? Not just niggas doing white parties in the Hampton. The Hamptons was a portal. It was a jump point. It was indigenous land as well. They had the surname of the pharaohs were in control of that land. So Stranger Things is based off of the Montauk Project, which is a book that everybody who is in this bitch, who considers themselves to be a KTLian, we should already be familiar with that. That's classic KTL material right there. And then we recently just had Ross Ben revisiting all of this information and reassuring the family that, nigga, this shit is real. So the show that all of the children are tapped into, the show that's basically everybody's talking about, yeah, it's dealing with the Montauk Project and Camp Hero, and more people are finding out about it. This is based on a true story, and this is the true story, and people are tapping into the true story of it versus the fiction, which is the Netflix show. Okay, now I had an aversion to some of the stars of Stranger Things because they got long noses and whatnot, and they are pro-Zionists. But at the end of the day, if I were to stop watching Stranger Things, I might as well turn off my whole damn television and never go to the movies, because the motherfuckers is everywhere. They're everywhere. I'm not gonna do fake politics, fake outrage, but I'll tell people, don't follow them. You have the opportunity to function as a motherfucking observer and stop following niggas. You know what I mean? Like, don't follow them. Don't start worshiping the little niggas on Stranger Things. That, you know how people do. Oh, that's Bae. No, he's not. Wake the fuck up. You know, like, don't start glazing these little niggas. They're just actors. You know what I mean? They work for us. Kim Bridges, who was shot by the DC sniper, was hooked up with Mom. Yeah, you know, the DC sniper was taking niggas out. That wasn't no random shit. The DC sniper was a hitman. He was out there clearing niggas. The same way that the Afghanistan dude probably they had the Afghan CIA asset he was a hired killer, right? The one who they alleged had clipped the 2 National Guards. And because he clipped 2 National Guards, they sent in all of the Haitians back to war-torn Haiti, right? 300,000 of them. It's crazy. It's crazy. But let this young lady finish talking about Stranger Things.
This would have been based on the Montauk Project that happened in real life. This is a very popular conspiracy theory claiming that the US government ran secret experiments there involving time travel and mind control and even contact with aliens. Camp Hero was a real military base used for coastal defense and radar during the Cold War and World War II. And all of this lore around it comes from a mix of military history that is real and true and wild rumors that now make this abandoned site one of Long Island's creepiest mysteries. The Duffer Brothers had planned to make Stranger Things a limited series, or Montauk at the time, and it was going to be inspired by Jaws and Close Encounters and Stephen King and Steven Spielberg. I actually found the original pitch that they made to the networks, and I'm going to go through the entire packet in the next couple videos. Follow if you like Stranger Things.
So what did Netflix go ahead and do? They went and remixed the whole fucking story. So I need that packet because I want to know what they originally wrote. You know what I mean? Netflix made them gloss it, clean it up, remix it, and make it Netflix friendly, as they should. That's what they do. They sanitized it. But the original is what we want to get our hands on so we could see what exactly they were writing about. Because I promise you, this shit was going on in Long Island in the 80s around the same time that hip hop was popping off, right? Around the same time that hip hop was popping off. Do you know who comes out of Long Island? Rakim. De La Soul. Lord, Busta Rhymes and all them, and Charlie Brown and them. You know, Kings County, Long Island is Long Island, Queens, and Brooklyn. When it was together, it's called Long Island. Is RZA out of Long Island? No, I don't think so. But Long Island has birthed some elite rappers. I think MF Doom might be Long Island. They birthed some elite artists and whatnot. And motherfucking portals was opening up in that bitch around the same time that these artists, I mean, come on, man. You know my mind goes places. Public Enemy, how can I forget? The most important, Prince Paul, Public Enemy. These are the people coming out of this ley line, right? This grid. And this grid was being charged up. They had all of that MK Ultra shit. What if one of these artists was an MK Ultra kid? What if one of these rap artists is 11 in real life? You know, I got AI, nigga. I could make anything a reality now. You know what I'm talking about? Your thoughts. You don't second guess your thoughts anymore in this new world. You come up with a thought, you could act on it. You could act on it. You know? Thinking of a master plan. It ain't nothing but sweat inside my hand. You know? Chuck D compromise. I mean, shit. I think everybody except put it like this. You'll know if anybody's compromised if they never did nothing with Professor Griff in the industry. How many people have done anything with Professor Griff? If they never sat with Professor Griff, they're compromised. That he's the litmus test. If they not compromised, they will be seeking Professor Griff. Rock Marciano, MF Doom. You feel me? Hell yeah, they targeting mothers and children. You damn right they doing that. The spiritual war, they done turned that bitch up a few notches. You know what I'm talking about? Professor Nick Cannon tried. Come on, son. You're going to get a big come on, son, from me. Come on, son. The fuck? I was watching that episode the other day. Nick Cannon, bro. Something, Nick Cannon needs to be studied. You know what I mean? The way that this nigga folded, Nick Cannon needs to be studied, bro. And then he went ahead and had Candace Owens on his show afterwards. Like, bad. But did she finish? Hold on. Yeah, she finished Camp Hero. Yeah, look it up. Camp Hero. Look it up. Look it up. Let's continue this conversation. Now we in a little race bag. Let's go into this.
Sell merch, tickets. Hello, what?
Oh, you see that man right there? That's Jacob York. That's Jacob York. That's the one that put Dr. York in jail. All right. Because people be hearing his name, but they never see his face. Right. Jacob York used to be Little Kim's manager. You know, Little Kim, Take It in the Buns. Yeah. What? You know, Little Kim, the one who popularized selling box and shit like that. You know her, right? Who helped set women back a few centuries. Yeah. That's her manager right there. Jacob York. He went to manage Little Hot Box motherfucking Kim after he put his dad in jail for touching kids. But he went to go push Little Kim. Go figure, y'all. So he's on Ray Daniels, another weird nigga, you know what I mean, who did a love letter to Charlie Kirk when he died, right? Ray Daniels did he did a love letter to Charlie Kirk. And they're up here talking about there's a lawsuit going on right now. Yeah, Little Kim comes out in 1990 fucking 3, 4, 5. Dr. York goes down in 90 in 01. Okay. So he was managing her and then he took his dad down, I'm guessing. It probably was before. So he was pushing Little Kim, and then he caught a consciousness and was like, you know what? I'm gonna line my dad up. You know what I'm saying? So he's running around doing podcast interview with Ray Daniels. Okay. And they're saying there's a lawsuit out against Meta, and they're alleging that Meta is basically a company that's equivalent to a drug empire, right? Based off of how they are utilizing the algorithms, tweaking them to get children. We were just talking about the children and how the children are being, quote unquote, sacrificed to Moloch or to whatever these entities are that feast off of the looch and also the adrenochrome and also the effervescence of young children, right? This is a fact. So Meta is in hot water, but they've been in hot water and people still use them and ain't nothing gonna change. It's just something for the motherfucking record books when you look back on it and you say, God damn it, we was all addicted. We was all crackheads and didn't even realize it at the end of the time. We was all fucking smoking, my niggas. You know what I mean? People are having withdrawals and shit from tablets, and niggas is addicted, bro. This is a new drug. This is the new drug, K2. Right? This is the new drug. Okay?
Spotify is really a social media network.
It is.
That's how they want it to be perceived.
Of course.
That's why you can follow the artists and you can they really just want to sell music though. So they sell merch,
They
tickets.
want to sell drugs.
Hello, what? Hello, what?
Not music. Okay, tell me 2 businesses in the world that calls their customers users. Drugs and social media.
I can't stand this motherfucker.
They were addicting you. That's what they did. They knew they needed to create a generation of people that needed to be accepted.
Yep.
Right? So you had a generation of people that came off Prozac, that bred a group of people that had a need to be liked. And so they created something that triggered their endorphins, right? They know that gambling is the most driven thing that triggers endorphins.
Niggas get excited.
So they created a gambling concept, and that was see if you can get as much likes,
Yep.
see if you can get as much views, see it, and they addicted them to that concept. So artists now, like when you look at what's the kid's name, Lil Yachty, you know, trying to get attention by what he said about George Floyd, right?
Yeah.
It became something about how do I get as much attention?
How do I get
as much attention?
Yes, on me in the middle of this whole shit
thing.
happened.
And they didn't think to say, you know, let me make good music. They thought to say more likes, more views, more this.
Yeah, that like thing, that like button, y'all. That like addiction is real. Check this out. It's so real. It's the little babies they got it the worst. The little babies got it the worst. You know what I'm talking about? The little babies got it the worst. They don't even know that there's an addiction. They don't even know that they're being thrown into a cycle of addiction, right? Dopamine addictions. You know, what herb would y'all recommend that will break the addiction. Is it Iboga? What herb? Because whoever bottles that one up, what herb or what will be the plant to break blue light addiction or dopamine addiction? Because this is real. Dopamine addiction is real, y'all. You feel me? And if it's not addressed, it's going to evolve or devolve into some real dangerous shit. Okay? Said that Peter Pan shit. Discipline. Yeah. Yeah. You can't do the that what they call the polite parenting. The toad. Iboga helped you with your kava. Something spicy. I respect that. You know, mugwort. I wrote that down. Discipline, the boomies, the bitters. We met with Peter Moon in Los Angeles, a ritual aimed at the moon. Okay. Yeah. See if we could get him back on this beach. Mullen and sage. Right. Ocean water and some cleansing. Right. Shit. You ain't never lie. A mindset reset. Some NZT. You feel me? So check this out. Look how real this shit is. People are crashing, y'all. Crashing. What Jacob and them just described, and no, you know, I just, like I said, I don't have no issue with Jacob York. I don't know. I met the man one time. I don't know him. I just was like, that's Jacob York. I'm just showing you, I'm putting a face to the name because many people never seen his face. I'm just putting a face to the name, right? Shout out to him and what he's doing. And what they were talking about is the attention economy, right? Where people are crashing out for attention. What they were describing is what was coined the attention economy, right? People don't know these economies that they're in, but yeah, that's the attention economy where you are going to go viral based off of how many people are watching you and the shit that you do to get people to watch, right? So check this out. The attention economy is crashing people out because people are addicted to the views. They're addicted to the likes. They're addicted to all of these things and whatnot. And when they get less of it, or when they don't get as much of it as they think that they should get, yeah, they'll start to feel a kind of way and they'll start to crash. You know what I mean? So we're beginning to see this around the border. So yeah, check this one out with the shorty right here.
Give me money. I don't want to start an OnlyFans. My music career is fucking trash. I have 40 fucking monthly listeners.
Says she don't want to start an OnlyFans, y'all, because it's
how fucking long do I have to keep doing this shit to make off of this shit, bro?
Because unfortunately, even if people don't say it outrightly, if that's not being said outright, it's still implied. This is an option now. And you know, this is almost like this is the new plan B. It's not being said, but it's not even subtle. It's like, yo, if shit don't work out, show that ass. Like, go on your plan B. You know what I mean? Go to that OnlyFans. You know what I'm talking about? You make it faceless. So I want to highlight what's going on in this culture as it crashes. You dig? I want to highlight it. We want to document what's going on in the culture as it goes through what it's going through. But it's going through it. And we witnessing it in real time. I'm the observer. I'm here to make sense of certain things. But there's one thing that I do. If I don't know nothing, what I do know is that niggas is crashing. And this shit is drying up faster than a motherfucking squid in the desert, niggas.
How fucking long do I have to keep doing this shit to make money off of this shit, bro? I have 100,000 fucking followers on Instagram. I have 50,000 followers on TikTok. Nobody wanna give me money. I don't wanna start an OnlyFans. My music career is fucking trash. I have 40 fucking monthly listeners. What the?
Wow, she doesn't have bad music. She doesn't have access to the right information or the right people. But what's interesting is she's not the only one. There's so many artists I know with massive social media followings, but it has not translated to their DSPs yet. Unless you were intentional with their plan, a content strategy, call to actions, and the right posting frequency to convert your social media followers to actually listeners and then converting them to fans.
See, people did not prepare for the shift. They out here eyeballing shit, thinking that, oh, I'm going to just do this, I'm going to just do that, not realizing that when the shift took place, everything changed. So everything in life, there's nothing in life that's random. If it was, I would share. I haven't come across anything random yet. Everything that I've come across is structured and it has a formula, and there's actually a process to go about achieving a result. You can't just throw shit into the fucking sky and hope that it sticks. That don't work no more. You know what I'm saying? So I don't give a fuck if you selling music or if you're selling goddamn if you're selling muffins. You know what I mean? If you're selling music or muffins, if you're doing it over the internet, brothers and sisters, it is going to require a plan, a strategy. You're going to have to work on your motherfucking craft and perfect it. You know what I'm talking about? You have to be intentional with the shit that you're doing. I could tell just by looking at her, right? And her crash out. You didn't do the motherfucking homework. You probably didn't listen. Your ass thought that you could shake a little. I don't know what her music sound like. I haven't heard from her ever. I never seen her before in my life. But I could tell that she didn't do the work. She didn't perfect her craft. And at the end of the day, if your ass is on the internet, your craft should be internet marketing, learning how to reach a demographics, learning how to go viral, learning how to having a upload schedule, learning how to quote unquote merge some of your content with I don't know. Yeah, you said she could get 7K from the Zionists for doing something against Candace. But yeah, people are crashing.
But what's interesting is she's not the only one. There's so many artists I know with massive social media followings, but it has not translated to their social media followers to actually listeners and then converting them to fans. Now she currently has 200 monthly listeners, and we just took an artist with 200 monthly listeners to 40,000 monthly listeners in a matter of 3 months. If you know her or someone like her in that situation, they got a massive social media following, but it hasn't quite translated to their DSPs, to their Spotify, to their Apple Music, tap in. We can show you the formula so you can do it yourself, or we can actually do it for you. Don't get frustrated. You just got to know. You got to have access to the right information. We have.
And then you got people that's out here gatekeeping. You feel me? And they know the formulas and they can help people, but they're not. Okay. And that sucks in and of itself. But you can't necessarily twist anybody's arm to make them give up the motherfucking goods and whatnot. We don't live in those days and times. Yeah, this nigga's trying to sell a course. You know what I'm talking about? You know, they gatekeeping. He could have just said, this is what you need to do. But like I said, you know, my humble advice would be for anybody that's mixing and mingling in this into this business or into this industry, or your ass is trying to be famous. Yeah, you need to be able to be coached properly. Your ass gotta have a manager, you gotta have a team, and you should just learn every single day. Don't have paralysis of analysis. Apply that shit. But your ass should be in a book. You should be learning some shit every day. You should have a mentor, a tutor, right? Somebody who knows more than you. Okay. And there are about 20 different ways to get yours. If you're an artist, there's literally 20 different ways to get you in front of people on a daily basis. And it don't always have to be your music. Your music video and all of that shit might come last. Build up a following of people who care about you, who know who you are, who support you. It don't matter what you do. Get the 1,000 fans theory, memorize that shit, and then implement it. And then use the AI as a business partner. Get some agents on your team. Get some motherfucking automation, some workflows and whatnot. Nigga. Okay? Because it's a lot of people is going to be on the internet crying because they falling behind and whatnot, and they're going to get frustrated when they see people winning and whatnot, and they're not going to be able to catch up or to latch on or to keep up, and that shit is going to make them crash. They're going to feel like, oh, woe is me and everything. And listen, I'm telling you, while the going is motherfucking good, bro, stop playing. Stop playing. You ain't gonna play in my face, but please stop playing in the world's face. Level the fuck up. It's time to level up. If you need advice, well, you gotta ask for it. Closed mouths don't get fed, man. Nobody knows what anybody is going through. Nobody knows what anybody has to offer until they say it. But when you say it, then the ball gets rolling. So let's get into this shit right here.
Years. That's the knowledge. Last 40 years. That's the knowledge. That's the place we should operate in, because it dictates so much about where we at now. There was so much economy loss. There was so much community loss. There was so much family loss. There was a lot of dynamics lost, a lot of lives lost, a lot of minds lost. We lost a lot in 40 years. And we're trying to get it all back by hustling and doing LLCs and being CEOs. That ain't how you gonna get it back. Because what you're doing is you go back and you're trying to exploit your community, because a lot of y'all do business like crack dealers. You look at your community as custos, as clientele. No, these are people. And these people work hard for their money. I understand inflation, but goddamn, a haircut ain't $100. I don't give a fuck how rich your client is, nigga. A haircut ain't, at 50 is pushing it. But I understand the economy. 50 is cool. But a haircut ain't no $100. Shouldn't cost motherfucker $500 to get their hair done, and you talking about bitch come with your hair washed. No.
Bro, a haircut is not $100, nigga. We ain't in Dubai. Fuck as you mean? Yeah, I wish a nigga would. I wish. $100. Yeah, you gonna get $100, all right.
But a haircut ain't no $100. Shouldn't cost motherfucker $500 to get their hair done, and you talking about bitch come with your hair washed. No, that's not how we do this. Stop hustling. Y'all niggas got business mentality like crack dealers. You think if you open up a restaurant, you compete to treat the patrons like shit. You're in the service industry. You think you had to be nice to people as a waitress? Think about how nice you got to be to motherfucker now that you own it. You get in the service industry and then you don't want to do service. This doesn't make sense. We're hustling backwards. You
Shout
can
out
talk
to
to
the
crackheads
Jamaican
crazy.
restaurant.
They're fiending for it. Nobody wants
Shout
that
out to the
burger that
Jamaican
bad,
restaurant.
nigga. Nobody wants that salmon that bad. Them lamb chops ain't that damn good. They ain't got the nerve, no price. Market price. Nah, gratuity already. Nah, you wouldn't have to add gratuity automatically if y'all niggas knew how to do service. Stay out the service industry if you don't want to serve your people. We not clientele. We not custos. We not J's, nigga. We not fiending for the motherfucking French 75. We not fiending for that.
Not fiending for it at all.
I'm cool on that. I don't need the Dawn that bad. I can go to the liquor store if I want to get drunk. We coming in this place to patronize your business because it's a black-owned business. We want to come in here and catch a vibe. We don't come here and catch no fucking attitude with you.
With you?
Because you own this bitch. Yeah, you own it. Now act like a motherfucking business owner. I ain't saying let niggas handle you, but goddamn, don't handle me. I'm spending my motherfucking money, and who the fuck you think you is, nigga? Y'all getting out of pocket. That's why we need to address the last 40 years, because the crack epidemic took a lot from us, including our customer service, including the way we treat each other.
Now, for the past, who knows how long, you know, your unks, red and blue, we've been talking about this crack era thing, right? We've been highlighting the effects and the quote unquote, it's the unspoken trauma of the crack era that people are glossing over. It's the moving so fast, right? Running from the traumas, running from the motherfucking running from that scourge of what happened, not addressing it, not atoning for it, not healing from it, right? The hate you gave little infants, F's everyone type shit, right? And we like, yo, we just gonna sit back and always refer to when this shit got broke, because everybody wants to talk about this and everybody wants to talk about that, but nobody wants to talk about when this shit got broken and who broke it and how to properly put it back together, or just to say, yo, this shit is broken. I really have yet to see a concerted effort on the behalves of my collective melanated people to have the crack conversation, the crack talk. We need to have a crack talk. You know? Generation X, my generation, was affected the most, in my humble opinion, by that crack era. We the ones who died selling it. And the baby boomers and the ones after us, they the ones who they fell to the horrors of it. They got addicted to it the most, in my humble opinion. Now, people my age are starting, they became crackheads later on down the line. But no, when I was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, it was people from my generation I went to school with, that I grew up with. They was the runners. They was the hand-to-hand dealers. They became kingpins. They became, quote unquote, they became Marlowe and all of that shit. You know what I mean? And they were looking up to the OGs who really kicked it off and got this shit popping. The ones from the Rich Porter era, that would be like the babies that were born in the 60s and whatnot. You know? Those were the babies from like the late 60s and shit like that. You know what I mean? The millennials were the crack babies. Yes. Yes. Feel me? Yes. You know? And I don't, you know, when I speak on it, I speak on it with when I speak on it, I speak on it with compassion. I don't punch down. I don't talk down. And I'm not trying to trigger nobody's trauma that is listening to me when I speak on this and I highlight this. We had a conversation with Freeway Rick Ross 3 times. Okay. It's documented. That's back in the radio days. I'll even upload those episodes so we could get a little refresher. I said it before on the show and I'll share it again. I was prepared to attack Freeway Rick Ross when he came on the show. I was going to blindside him. Blue invited him. I was like, what? Rick Ross? Oh, because I was judging. I was in my judgmental bag. I think that I have to heal myself from the way that I may judge people who were involved in that quote unquote life. I don't know what the gripe is that I have against them. You know, fortunately, I didn't have to go through all of the horrors of that era, but I did bear witness to it. You know what I'm talking about? I did bear witness to it. I think I picked up on secondhand trauma. I just feel that I picked up on secondhand trauma from coming across certain people in life who I loved and who I cared for, and I watched them wither away, and I witnessed the horrors of what that thing could turn a person into, right? I saw it firsthand. I didn't need to see it in a whole bunch of people. I seen it one time and that was enough. Where someone's mother made a sexual pass to me whilst under the substance of crack cocaine, and who would have never in her life, okay, would have never in her fucking life said a word to me in that type of quote unquote with that type of, she would have never made a pass like me in any other fucking situation in life. But I just so happened to stumble upon her under the influence of crack cocaine, and she said some shit to me that literally broke me inside. And then in my mind, I was like, God damn it, is this what she's telling everyone? And then when I saw that, then I started looking at the niggas that was selling that shit, and I was like, wait a minute, y'all, this is what y'all pushing? This is what y'all promoting? This is what you're getting so-called rich off of? You niggas think you're getting rich? You think you're earning something? You showing me bankrolls and nigga, that's blood money. What are you talking about? You know, you can't save blood money. Can't save blood money. You can't triple blood money. You know, you could try to invest it and whatnot, but it's not clean. It doesn't have, it's a currency. It's a bad currency. It is a cursed currency. It's a backwards currency. You don't want that. You do not want that. You don't want to hold on to that. So once again, I'm stating, you know, the need, the wanting to, and the intent to do a panel, you know, about this with people who it directly affected. And I want some crack dealers on there as well. You know what I'm saying? I want them to talk about their experience as well, because once again, we were all young and lost. Niggas was lost. They didn't know no better. We was coming out of poverty, you know? We was coming out of poverty, and everybody went for whatever they could do to save them. But this is what makes this shit sad, right? This right here, I'm gonna throw this up. This is what makes it bad, because imagine what the people from the 70s and the 60s that was hanging our people. Imagine how they was looking at us. Imagine how they still looking at us. Imagine how they looked at each other when their Reaganomic plans came to fruition, and they was able to drive through the hood and see the destruction, right? These were the same people. Yeah, they did offer it as a party drug. You damn right, because that's what it was. It was a party drug. It got you loose and whatnot. You know what I mean? That's what it was told to me. It was a party drug. Henceforth, why so many people jumped on that shit so fast. It wasn't a negative thing at first. Okay. But for people who saw us as animals and pets a few decades before, yeah, this was their justification right here.
Says they saw black people as pets. White man from the South says they saw black people as pets.
As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in the 20s when I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. And now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think they've lost their sense of somewhat, which I deplore.
Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet. Something, or rather someone, we had to take care of. Because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do all.
So when you hear these Europeans of today, right, act like they got to care for us, and they act like they got to take care of us, and they got to act like they got to throw bones at us, and they're responsible for wiping our noses and shit. This is the mentality that it somewhat comes. He said that we were superior pets, my nigga, right? He said that we were superior pets, meaning that we were just slightly above a beast of burden, right? Like they be like, yo, the horse is smart and whatnot, you know, and niggas was just slightly smarter. That's what they're saying. We know that the superior pets went and created the fucking stoplight. The superior pets went and gave these crackers peanut butter. I didn't mean to say that, crackers. You know, I'm talking saltine cracker. The superior pet went and gave them open heart surgery. The superior pet helped them at NASA come up with the calculations so they could allegedly visit the moon. These are superior pets, mind you, right? The same way that they talk about AI. I heard this statement come up before. That's why I was interested. They call AI a superior pet. Okay. So we got to remember they're using language from decades ago, but these are some of the things that you'll hear people in the Trump administration speak on. The Nicks and the Tuckers and whatnot. They'll throw these words out there, or they'll say certain quote unquote their narrative is based off of a perspective that this man has shared, that their ancestors taught us and civilized us, whereas we have a truth that says that, nah, nigga, we taught you how to bathe. You were the wild man. We shaved you. We washed you. We helped you with your hygiene. You were considered to be the Iceman inheritance, not us. So what do you mean you have a superior pet? You see how they flip things?
Almost everything for them, that except living their own lives. Anything outside, we had to do for them.
Now, you know that's a crock of shit. You know, but this is what they show people who come to America who act like they know us. This is the shit that people from Asia, India, Africa, and other places, this is the shit that they be watching. This is what they believe. This is called propaganda, ladies and gentlemen. It's poison. Okay? It's fucking poison. But this is what they've sent around the world. This is their level. This is what they think about you. I mean, so this next video is somebody checking some Asians, the Asian population, putting them in check and whatnot, giving them a motherfucking wake up call, a checkup for the neck up is what I like to call. And the Asians and the Indians and everybody, they act funky with us because of shit like this, because of what the media has showed them, because of what them textbook lied to them. You know what I'm talking about? Because of all of these propagandized narratives that people ran with. But we live in a new day and age where all of that shit is literally flipping on people's heads and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? And people are coming to the motherfucking conclusion that they've been hoodwinked, you know what I mean, and bamboozled, and we are greater than the credit that they give us. But yeah, check this shit out.
Asian people's business,
Yeah, I'm never in Asian people's business either.
I'm never in Asian people's business like I have been this week, but take a listen to this.
I have something to add. Why is it that every black person on my For You page who is commenting on side-eyeing or not side-eyeing white people in H Mart, they get it like that, like what's going on and why that's a thing. But like there's fully grown Asian creators who are like super defensive of white people for some reason.
Black people do not crave proximity to whiteness. We do not think white is ideal and black is less than. We do not put whiteness on a pedestal, and we do not try to assimilate into whiteness because black culture is one of the dominant prevalent cultures.
Please let that shit sit. Amen, brother. Because he said what people have a hard time articulating, and it needs to be said. It needs to be stood upon. For all of y'all that like to get tattoos, well, goddamn it, it needs to be tatted on your forehead. That we, this generation and generations after us, we are not like the generations that came before us. And I will not even indict my OGs to make it seem like they was lame, because the generations that raised me up, they were not trying to be next to no white folks. They were not trying to be in proximity of Caucasians like that. They were giving them pain and punishment at every given turn. They were very rebellious. The OGs that I came up under, no. They were not trying to conform. They were not trying to assimilate. They were not trying to get along to go along. Hell nah. They was in them people pockets, and they was upside their heads and whatnot. And they have lied to the world and made them feel like we be trying to get next to them people and whatnot, when our our culture needs them. Like we need a fucking boost from white culture. No disrespect, but there is no such thing as white culture. And that's the big conversation going on online right now. And the white fragility is beginning to show itself. And these people are getting wild moist and whatnot because they're getting called out and they can't take it. But as your ship sinks, my nigga, yeah, nigga, you're gonna see us coming down. On the way down, we gotta talk to you. We gotta talk. We got some words to say. We're gonna chant you down, nigga. We're gonna chant you down.
People for some reason.
Black people do not crave proximity to whiteness. We do not think white is ideal and black is less than. We do not put whiteness on a pedestal, and we do not try to assimilate into whiteness because black culture is one of the dominant prevalent cultures in America. What you're experiencing is black people knowing who our oppressors are, understanding the histories of our oppressors, and understanding how being in proximity of our oppressor has never benefited us ever in the history of our time here in America. Asian people have been made a model minority since your inception into this country as Chinese people. And that has been extended.
Commenting.
Model minority.
Cambodians, everyone else who's
model minority. We call them buffer races. Model minority, right? The Spaniards are not model minorities, right? The Indians and the Asians are considered model minorities. They even had the Caribbean when I was coming up. Before they brought all of these people in, they had them as model minority. Let us continue.
Minority since your inception into this country as Chinese people. And that has been extended to Koreans, Cambodians, everyone else who's Asian by proxy. And that assimilation or that desire to be considered the model minority and to be propped up above Latinos and black people always makes Asians side with the side of the oppressor, wanting white people in their spaces, being the group that marries white men more than anyone else as a person of color. And that also includes the proximity to whiteness that you guys hold. Now, you couple that with the fact that white people in this country are obsessed with non-white cultures, but do not prop up non-white cultures because they understand that the dominant people in this country, and they can steal from Asians if they want, they can steal from Latinos if they want, they can steal from black people if they want, but less so the last, because black people have a tendency of calling white people out when they do steal our stuff and culture appropriate it, whereas you see, Asians don't really make enough noise to combat what white people take from them. So seeing a white person in H Mart, I would give the side eye all fucking day, for sure. Especially because I live in LA and I've been to H Mart a couple of times. It's the only place I can find oxtail and a bunch of other stuff that I cook when I cook Caribbean food or food that black people want. It's the only place where things are still priced regularly. And once white people find shit, prices go through the roof because come with me as I find this new cool spot in Koreatown. We don't need that. The reason why black people can call this out is because this has been happening to us since the inception of time. People like Elvis. Elvis is a caricature of a black man. You look at all of the boy bands that they stole that entire aesthetic and persona from R&B groups. Everything that has been made pop culture in this country derives from black people at a certain point. So when you ask the question as to why there are less Asian people calling out white people in your spaces, it's because culturally you guys are more aligned to be with and care about what white people think about you versus us. And if you want to look at any of the history of this country, which you guys should take a look at our history, but we're so busy, you're so busy trying to be above us instead of understanding that without understanding our history, you'll never truly understand your place in this country. But hey, this is our history. You'll never truly understand your place in this country.
Without understanding our history, you will never understand your place in this country. Fucking bars. That is a neck tat. That's a forehead and a face tat. Where's Blueface at? You nigga, get that on your face. Without understanding our history, you will not know your place in this motherfucking country. I approve that message. I'm not look that shit. That's like music to my ears. I have not been doing all of the work that I've been doing. I'm standing on the shoulders of some great people. I'm not here by myself. You feel me? I'm amongst the pantheon. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm attracted to the pantheon because the pantheon, you know, everybody in the pantheon, they about getting the story right. You know what I'm saying? That's what they about. They wrote books about it. They're all about getting the story right. So who could learn it? Not just us, everybody. We was on 125th Street in Harlem amongst the world. We were on the one of the most busiest corridors in America for foot traffic, which will be 125th Street, river to river. But exactly where we were at, we were in the busiest foot traffic corridor in the world, right? For global traffic. What does that mean, Red? What that means is there's more people that walk through 125th Street from around the world on a given day than damn near anywhere in the world, even 42nd Street. Facts. So we were talking to the world when we was out there. We was dealing with the world when we wasn't just dealing with black folk. We was dealing with the world when we was out there. We was giving out a global fucking edict. We were telling the world who we was. We were setting the record straight. We had the slave pictures up. You niggas are not going to come to Harlem and see the atrocities of what we pale folks have done in these quote unquote states. I don't care how much they trying to lie to you. This is the truth. It's the uncomfortable truth. You gotta deal with this shit. You got to deal with this shit. This ain't Disney World, nigga. You're going to see lynching pictures and whatnot. I'm going to keep it 1,000 with you. I wasn't the biggest fan of that shit. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I didn't wake up every day like I can't wait to get to 125th Street to stand in front of the fucking lynching pictures, you know? But it did what it needed to do. It woke niggas up that was out here sleepwalking and whatnot. You know, this was hard. This for the knuckle draggers. You got to shock them and you got to teach them at the same time. So not just the pictures were there to kind of like stop you. That was the sticky. That's the in the attention economy. The pictures were the sticky material that we use to capture attention. After we capture attention, we capture attention. So directly behind, when you turn around from viewing the pictures, was a library full of information and material. 5 racks full of quote unquote videos. Right? I saw a viral video the other day where somebody was speaking on the importance of still capturing or saving up DVDs and physical quote unquote memorabilia, because when the servers and the satellites crash, you're gonna want to go back to that good. You want that good thing back, right? You're gonna want to get that good thing back, and that would be books and shit like that. So we had about 500 pieces of material in the forms of either VHS or DVD, speakers from all around the world. Dr. Ben, we had material on Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Jack Felder. He had his books out there. He had his videos and his lectures and his audio tapes out there. We had libraries of books. The brother by the name of Willie, he comes out there with a big ass cart with thousands of books. Nova Felder, thousands of books. Sonetta, thousands of videos. Jack from Sutek, brother Sutek, he had hundreds of videos. I had hundreds of videos. We had Taj Tariq Bey. We had Ali Muhammad. We had A.A. Rashid. We had Asir the Duke of Tears. We had Sarasu and Seti. We had Natural Tahuti, Brother Polite, Blue Pill, Red Pill. You know what I'm talking about? We had Sharif Bey. You know what I'm talking about? We had C. Freeman L, Azazil, Brother Dawood, Bobby Hemmett, Brother Panic. Oh, Brother Panic came uptown one day and made Sinetta take his videos off the rack. And that's a whole nother story that we'll have to talk about one day. Azariah Bey. You know what I mean? Azazel, aka Azazel. We had Wesley Muhammad. You know what I mean? AKA True Islam. These are just videos upon videos upon videos upon videos upon videos. Fuck Netflix, nigga. This was the real blockbuster. Dr. Amos Wilson, who I accredit as being one of my first enlighteners who woke me up. Dr. Yafa Bey. So after you turn around from the lynching pictures, if you have any interest in what the fuck is going on in the world, nigga, this is before YouTube. Here you go. Sinetta would give out free DVDs sometimes, and then you would have to pay for the other ones that you wanted and whatnot. And our people didn't have no problem with paying for it. $20 to $30 a pop, my niggas. You feel me? That's how much it was valued. And then somebody came along and was selling them for $1. And at the end of the day, that wasn't even that. He was the brother who came to sell it for $1. He read the room. He understood that the internet was on the rise and you won't be able to sell DVDs anymore. So he basically came and shifted the market and he started moving them for $1. You know what I mean? And after it became a day where you couldn't even sell them for $1 anymore. How about that? It went from $30 to where you couldn't even sell them for $1. Niggas was like, here, take 20 for $20. They'd be like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna watch that shit on YouTube. You know, I'm gonna watch it on YouTube. So that went on. That went on for about 30 years. And Harlem wasn't the only place where that was happening at. I think they were doing that in Leimert Park. I know that they were doing that in Newark, New Jersey. I know that they were doing that in Philadelphia at Black and Nobel. And then you had Union Station with the elder. He was bodying shit. He had a whole library. I'm talking about this was our own libraries. These were our own digital libraries. Our own Library of Alexandria. We had access to all of this. And we were teaching Africans, especially on 125th Street. There are people who came from the continent to Harlem and did not find out about the continent until they got to Harlem, and they found out about their tribe or the history of their tribe, and they also found out about the history of our tribes by indulging in the research and the information that was available on 125th Street from river to river. At one point, there was a point on 125th Street. I remember getting off of the train on Lexington and whatnot, and I turned my camera on and I counted 25 vendors from 125th Street in Lexington, where the dope fiends and where the methadone clinics are at, and where the quote unquote where the zombies are at. This is one of the worst corridors in New York, Lexington and 125. And they got the bus going to Ward's Island with the psychiatric hospital, Arcane Asylum and shit like that, right? And I talked about Lexington before, how social engineering wise, the city put a methadone clinic right there on purpose, because you got the people from the suburbs coming right off of Metro North. They got to get off of Metro North and get on the subway station going to work. So every day you got lawyers, you got judges, you got teachers, you got people who are very instrumental in teaching our children, and then people who are bosses of businesses that we were employed in. Every day they got to walk through dope fiends going to their occupation. So imagine what mind state they're going into the business with. They had to walk through fucking zombies in Harlem and smell stench of feces and vomit, and they got to walk past people with pus coming out of them, and damn near zombie Walking Dead, and then they got to go on a train to go into Manhattan to teach our children, or they got to go downtown to preside over some cases to decide the fate of black men and women. Come on, fam. You see what was going on? And they've been doing that for damn near 5 decades. They've been doing that for about 50 years, since Nicky Barnes and them was turning our people into zombies in Harlem. Okay? So from that point, going all the way up to Frederick Douglass in 125th Street, which would be the corner of not where we were at, because the corner of where the corner of where we was set up at, I counted 25 vendors selling books, either selling books and DVDs, selling both, or just selling books by itself. But all of these vendors were pushing consciousness of the highest degree, 25 plus. This is at the heights of the community before it fell and whatnot. At the heights of it, you had rosters pushing it. You had regular brothers and sisters pushing the information. You had, of course, Sekou, rest in peace. You had Infudici out there pushing his information. He had a whole entire setup, a big setup. He had a whole library. I'm talking about vast amounts of information. He's selling. You had Azazel, rest in peace, with Majade and whatnot. They were in front of the juice bar. They were selling a whole bunch of stuff. You had Sinetta, who, in my humble opinion, he had the biggest collection and whatnot. He was considered the Don King of this shit. And like him or not, he was instrumental to this movement. Henceforth, why I've always decided to take the higher route in terms of when I speak about that man, I give him his honors I don't spend too much time critiquing and throwing Sinetta under the bus because you know it doesn't that's not even warranted. That would be some super sucker shit of me. And I would never be I'm sucker free. I would never go out like that. And I would never do the brother dirty like that. You know what I'm talking about? Sinetta was a necessary evil. And not to say it in that way and whatnot, but Sinetta was highly instrumental to the build out of what we know as consciousness. And if anybody were to deny him of that, they would just be completely out of their mind. You know what I mean? There's no way that you could overlook him. There's no way that you can minimize him. And there's no way that you could quote unquote dismiss him, because that's not how that works. Many people discovered me through Sinetta. So I'm honored. I am indebted, right, to our quote unquote the period of time that we had, because the period of time that me and that man had creating what they call content was unmatched in YouTube history. Fuck the black community or the content. No, nigga. The time that me and that man was creating content together and we created that wave, it's unmatched. You know, it's unmatched. You know what I'm talking about? So when it stopped working, it stopped working. But when it was working, my niggas, it was working. Okay. They were selling shit at Berkeley. They were selling information at Berkeley. And you don't know at the end of the day, right? You don't know who got a hold of the information. You don't know who got a hold of the information and what they were able to do with it. Because I'm seeing shit like Lovecraft. I'm seeing shit like Watchmen. I'm seeing shit like Stranger Things and all of these. I'm like, bro, this would have never even been thought of. This wouldn't even the videos of white folks talking about occultism. We did a whole show with Brother Rich the other day talking about Bobby Hemmitt's impact. And I didn't, it's not that I forgot to talk about it, but we were talking about so much. I didn't even mention that in the calendar year of 2025, if you were to go over there on the far right side or of the internet, everybody's having a conversation that Bobby Hemmett had 30 years ago. How, Sway? How? You niggas talking about y'all got some culture? Lies. Y'all late to the game. Fuck as you mean? Y'all Tucker Carlson, nigga. Send a check, bro. You know what I'm talking about? Send a check. Y'all over there acting like y'all just heard about occultism. Niggas been on that, bro. What you talking about? That's old news, fam. We was nigga, when Superhead was hot, we was doing the research. What do you mean? Like, the entire internet right now is all about, oh shit, there's something called the Kabbalah. Oh man, they're doing what? Sex magic. Oh shit, what's that? Beelzebub. You That's Bobby all day. That's Bobby all day, bro. Like, they're literally repeating conversations that Bobby had when he was sitting on the toilet, nigga. This is not even his lecture work. This is the shit that he was on the phone with niggas from Buffalo, New York, while he was in the bathroom on the toilet talking about, you got to coordinate. This bathroom talk. This not even, they're on to Bobby's side conversations. They didn't even go down the rabbit hole yet. You understand? They haven't even gotten to Phil Valentine level of conversations on the white side, to be honest with you. They have not got dark like Dawood. They have not gone demonic like Panic. and they haven't gone strictly to the dark side like Azazel. They're giving Bobby early Bobby right now. And they're not giving you full Bobby either. They're not giving, like I said, they're giving you baby Bobby shit. Like if Bobby was like a boss baby, they're giving you baby Bobby talk. They're not giving you Delbert Blair talk because they're literally like the 3-Eye Atlas shit is confusing them. So I would just say focus on you, focus on yourself, King. You know, keep cooking. The real information is in the classics. You understand? Yeah, they call it red pill talk. Yeah, that's what they named it, red pill talk. So when you hear them say that, they don't know me, they're not talking about me. They just coined the phrase. But if you were to ask me, the classics is where the real hardcore, detailed, unstepped on information is, right? It's like a fucking 0.9, right? The new tools that are out, the AI tools for researching things and for breaking it down, the combination of the two is fucking a chef's kiss. I'm gonna just leave it at that. The content that has already been created, right? You don't gotta really go through new it's not nothing new under the sun. Don't even worry about the new shit. Fuck the new shit. Nobody, the old stuff needs to get unpacked. Y'all didn't even unpack the old. It's almost like imagine going into somebody's house and they have a whole living room filled up with suitcases and it's all designer, but you didn't even open the suitcase yet, bro. You didn't even open up the suitcase. You know what I'm talking about? It's a lot of cloth laying on the floor that you didn't even put on yet. And you talking about buying some new shit. No, fam. Go and study. They brought Panic's page back. Go into Panic's page. Go into the Bobby archives. Go into the Valentine archives. Go into the Know the Ledge archives. Go deep diving. Go into early AA, nigga. You got to understand. There's nothing new under the sun. Yes, the old videos talking about shit happening now. So when you see that, you say, oh, all right, okay, they were projected into the future. This video is for the now. So I'm gonna take notes. I'm gonna break this shit down. I'm gonna run it through Gemini and say, yo, turn this shit into a study guide, turn it into an infographic, turn it into a motherfucking motion graphic. You know what I mean? Use the new tools to tweak the old data, right? Run that shit through, get the transcript, then run the transcript through Gemini, run it through Claude and whatnot. Run that bitch through 5.0 GPT 5.0. Make plugs, a plugin. Make custom GPTs. Make skills on Claude out of the master teacher's information. Go and build up notebook LMs on these videos and then create explainer videos, flashcards, study guides, blogs, you name it. There's nothing wrong with that because the information is public. It's a fucking video that was made for you to. I went and took the book list. Let me show you. So I could show you better. I could tell you, right? I went and got the book list. I'm like, I ran that bitch right through Gemini and it gave me a proper book list and it compartmentalized the whole shit without me even asking it, bro. Right? I'll show you better than I could tell you. Okay, boom. There you go. Techno Tuesdays is tonight with Spin City. So I know that y'all don't be in the techno shit, but yeah, fuck with your peoples, man. Trust me on this. Tap in. Tap in. You know, you'll thank me later. So here go. Boom. Here's Gemini, right? Free. Google, nigga. Google. Google's your friend. So I put the video right here, right? I put the video right here. Here's go book list part 2, right? Boom. Book list part 2. I dropped it. I said, give me the book list, right? I said, analyze and summarize this video for me. This what it did. I don't have time to write nothing out. I'm a busy ass man with children, fam. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm out here doing things. So I just dropped it in there. Boom. And it gave me everything that I needed. Then I went and I printed out the list. Here goes the printout right here. Right? So now I can help people on a journey. Right? Now I got the book list. What am I going to do with it? You know what I'm going to do with it. I got the book list. Here go the book list. On all of its pages. In all of its glory. You know what I'm talking about? That's what the AI, I'm a fucking researcher. I'm using the AI to expedite the research. It's not rocket science. But these are some of the things that you could do with this stuff, right? I'm not, you know, this is some simple things. But we want to simplify so it broke all of the goddess books down. Goddess Feminine Minstrel Magic, right? Broke all of his books down. And he said, this is based off of his word. This is him talking about it. And it's giving me all of this in a list. All of the voodoo books, The Secret of Voodoo, Complete Book of Voodoo, Voodoo in Haiti, Voodoo and Hoodoo, nigga. Voodoo rituals, magic, rituals, spells of Santeria. Then it's the cosmology, conspiracy and forbidden science, anti-gravity, who built the moon, satellites are a hoax, terra firma, the earth was not a planet, the Cthulhu Mythos Encyclopedia, the Necronomicon, excuse me, I'm sorry, the Nazi and the occult, the reign of the black sun. You know what I mean? Psychologically, self-help, mind control. I mean, it goes on, man. It goes on because he was dropping it, right? So that's just giving you a little bit of insight as to how I'm utilizing some of the information for the benefit of research. You know? And there's many more things that you could do with this new Gemini tool and whatnot, but I'm just going to start right there. I'll go further down a rabbit hole on Techno Tuesdays and give it its proper setting and whatnot. I don't want to get all techie on Melanin Tuesday, okay? Let's go and hear from the bro, and you know who that is. Let's go.
Oh, why did gold explode past 4,250?
Hold on, Brosy.
5% in minutes, and the sun... Yo, why did gold explode past 4,250? Bitcoin nuke 5% in minutes, and the sun fire off a massive X flare all at the same moment. Because the markets aren't reacting to news, they're reacting to physics. Look, most people still think markets move because of headlines or Fed meetings. That's mimic logic. The truth is simpler and way more raw. When the sun fires, reality shifts, and everything dependent on electricity reacts instantly. Once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Comment, scroll, and get your scroll scan if you want the layer beneath the narrative. At 2:49 UTC, the sun hit us with an X1.9 flare. That level of energy doesn't just stay in space. It hits Earth's electromagnetic field like a shock wave. GPS timing shifts, satellite latency spikes, HF radio blackouts, communication disruption, algorithmic misfires, blockchain relay delays. So Bitcoin isn't crashing, it's reacting to a coherence break in the very network it runs on. Digital assets depend on electricity. Gold does not. If you want to understand why your life shifts when the field shifts, comment, scroll, and get your scan. Your scroll explains exactly how your system reacts to frequency. Look, gold pumped because it's physical. Bitcoin dumped because it's digital. And the sun is the clock that everything, markets, biology, consciousness runs on. You're not watching random events. You're watching a synchronized field correction. Gold up, Bitcoin down, flare spike, radio outages, market confusion, emotional turbulence, all within hours. This is what a timeline adjustment looks like in real time.
That's right, Brosy. Talk to them, man. This next one right here, this is my dude too. I got so many white friends this year. It's I might invite all of them for the end of the year show. But speaking of end of the year show, are y'all ready for Ra Aku and Ra's fucking Ben, bro? Are y'all ready for what we about to do to y'all on Thursday? On Third Eye Thursday, I got a show with Ra Aku and Ras Ben. The first time this has ever happened, y'all. This is the first time that these two have come together because we need a double whammy. This year has been a motherfucking one for the record books. We got to bring two masters up in this bitch. So I'm stacking the deck as high as a motherfucking kite. And on Thursday, we are going to break the motherfucking algorithm. Y'all look up for that. That's going to be an early show because we're going to have class number 4 with Hit Sayu Aku the same day. So yeah, I'm going to do my push-ups because Thursday is going to be lit. Thursday is going to be a busy day. Thursday is going to be about that life. So yes, look out for that. We are on the way. We're going to put the poster up. We're gonna put the flyer up, but we got Ras Ben and we have Ra Aku, and we are definitely going to do the annual recap, the end of the year with Ras mother effing Ben. You already know that. Put a 1 if you think we should do a live IRL with Ras Ben, or we should do something on the internet. I want to do some IRL shit. I'm gonna cast the first vote. I don't want to sit behind a computer and talk about what this year was about. Because truth be told, you know what I mean? The best thing that happened to me this year is when I was in front of y'all. Stone Mountain. That is hands down. I don't give a fuck what happened. I had, you know, this year kicked my ass. I'm gonna just keep it 1,000. I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you. This year washed me. You know what I mean? This year, I got jumped this year. You know what I'm saying? This year washed me up like on some old like one of the girls on the baddies, how they get beat up. You know what I'm talking about? I got beat up like Krishan Rock was after me. But it's all good though, because you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? You know, this year was a lesson. This year was a lesson. And it was a fast beat up too. You know, when you get jumped. And you ever get jumped like and stampeded at the same time? Like that's what this year was about. I got jumped and ran over at the same time because time was moving so fast. You get jumped, didn't even have time to figure things out. It's just like, goddamn, I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta, yeah, a quick ass whooping, a quick one. You know what I'm talking about? A little quick one. And I'm still in recovery. I might be in recovery for a few more months. You know what I'm saying? I might be in recovery for a few more months. You know what I mean? I need bandages. But I'm going to testify. I will testify at the end of this year. I will lay it all out. You know what I mean? Everybody got their ass kicked. Everybody that I talked to got packed up this year. So I don't feel alone and whatnot. We all just somewhere in the corner lumped up. You know what I mean? And it was also a beautiful thing as well. You know what I'm talking about? It was a beautiful thing. It was a gift and a curse. I would say that. will say that. I'm not gonna be. I have to be mindful of the great things. I have to be grateful of the fact that I still, you know, I'm being grateful. I'm very grateful for this year as well. I'm grateful for the lesson. Let's just say that. And I'm still learning said lesson. I'm not out of school as of yet. But I need to bring, and not only do we need to talk about what's coming up, we got to go over what was talked about that was gonna happen this year. Like we gotta run it up with Rosben. Like he already had put the predictions out. So we kind of have to go double back and go over our notes and be like, yeah, what came true, my G? But I promise you this, that based off of what I went through this year, I know beyond a reasonable doubt and without a motherfucking fact that the light is at the end of that tunnel. I already know that 2026 is going to be super lit because, God damn it, I know when I'm being tested. You know, I know when I'm being tested. I might not pass this shit with an A+, but I know when I'm being tested. And this is going to be, it's going to get greater later. It's gonna get greater later, bro. Trust me. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and so moted be my genius. You know what I'm talking about? So on Thursday, which is the last moon and whatnot, I'm preparing the table so we could all come together and feast. I need y'all in the building because 3 things are taking place. 1, history is happening because I'm bringing 2 master teachers. I'm connecting 2 worlds, two nodes, 2 master nodes together and whatnot. I need y'all to see that in real time. Don't hear about it. Be here for that. 2, I talked to both Rosben and Ra Aku, and like I just shared with you, we have all been tested this year, pushed to the motherfucking limits by the universe, and got our jaws tapped and whatnot. They took Ra Aku shared with me that somebody broke into his Facebook and erased all of his pages where he had about 50,000 followers. All of the people on all of his IG that he got hacked and they wiped him out. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, that, you know, I was like, shit like that happened to me when they took my channel, Ra. Don't worry about it. Just don't affirm that shit is forever gone. It's digital, so it still exists somewhere. So we're gonna manifest that shit back. We're gonna create an AI or some shit to bring your information back. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? So there's just some things that, you know, I want y'all to be there to hear, you know, because life be lifing, and sometimes real fucking talk over all of that glossy shit, it hits people better where they need to be hit. So sometimes we need to sit down and understand that even us are going through the same damn thing that everybody else is going through. So motherfuckers be trying to pedestal us as if shit don't be happening to us. And I'm like, God damn it, y'all, I want y'all to hear some of the shit that be happening to us. You know? You're not ready for the year to be over though. Yeah, this shit moving fast. So do everything that you can in this last quarter, my G. Wrap this shit the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? Wrap this one up. You know? Wrap it on up because this thing is the shit is ticking down. It's gonna be the ball is gonna be dropping. Next thing you know, the way this shit is going. You know? So I'm welcoming it. I'm part of the accelerationist movement. I'm accelerating this shit. I'm speeding it up. I'm stepping on the motherfucking glass on the gas, you know, and I'm touching glass and I'm touching grass. You know, stay balanced. You know, stay moisturized. Get out the blue light. That part. And I do have to put this piece up because this is important. This is Mama right here. We gotta put Mama have a story to tell too. And I can't wait till we get that opportunity to tell Mama's story. Hopefully we could tell it before the end of the year, because she has a powerful testimony that only she could share. I don't want to talk my mother's information. I let her talk it because I'm standing on her shoulders. She's the orator who we learned how to, with the gift of the gab and whatnot. She's the one who gave us this talk. So check her out.
Eating is adulterated. What we're eating is adulterated. It's denatured. It's synthetic. And it is demineralized. I said, no, the number one cause of global death is what is called protoplasmic poisoning.
Say it again.
Okay? Say you told me that. He told me that word during my apprenticeship. It's called protoplasmic poison. So what is protoplasmic poison? That's what's being administered to us through some of the things that we have been told is food.
Like what?
So without going into specifically, I'm saying that food is what's killing people.
Oh, the food is killing people.
He said, we're eating 3 meals a day and we're still starving to death. We're eating 3 meals a day. However, what we're eating is adulterated, it's denatured, it's synthetic, and it is demineralized. So you're eating, but you're not getting the minerals and the nutrients to sustain regeneration of life in the cell in the body. So that's what's killing people globally. Malnutrition, starvation, and protoplasmic poisoning.
Yeah. So like I said, we're gonna have Mama pop up. She'll be here before the end of the year with her testimony. You know what I'm talking about? And her new hairdo. Shout out to Mama Pill. You know what I mean? Like I say, yeah, she's been gone for 3 years. And, to see her back, to see her teaching again, to see her shining, to see her, just loving life, you have no idea. So, like I say it again, and I'm gonna keep saying it. We don't know what anybody is going through in real life. Sometimes we put on these we put on these shows and whatnot. We turn these cameras on, and some of us is going through it. Real talk. And it does what it does though, is that it really makes me really respect y'all, because going through what we was going through over those years, it was the audience, like the support, you know what I'm saying? That's what kind of helped us. That's what kind of helped keep us up, you know what I mean? Because it was a lot of shit going on. But I'll let her tell it. She's gonna tell it better than I can. You know what I mean? But salute to her, salute to the elders, salute to everybody that is bouncing back, doing what they're doing, staying healthy, and healing other people. Okay. For the brother Sabi's son, right? Young Victor. Okay, young Victor is locked up, right? And I put a thing up, you know what I mean? Young Victor has attacked my family. Young Victor has said crazy shit about my brother Blue. I don't know. He got this, I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get here and start talking about what Victor be doing. But what I do know is that the brother does not deserve to be in ICE. He's locked up in Texas with ICE. So I do know that that is highly unfortunate. And, I want the brother to know that we want the brother to be safe and with his family and doing the things that he needs to do, which is heal the people, because there's a lot of people out there that need healing. and we need as many healers free so they could administer the healing. You know what I'm talking about? That's what we need. You know, that's what we need. So may he be free before it's all said and done. I'm gonna play this next video, then I got a dip. You know what I'm talking about? But like I said, we do have Techno Tuesdays tonight. I think we will be going live maybe 8 p.m., the latest 9 p.m. So definitely look out for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure that you hit that like button and all of that other fly shit. Yeah, I'm talking about. But yeah, check this out before we get up out of here.
Miss Rachel at number 2.
Yeah, like I said, for all of my because you know I've been posting videos a lot, right? And this is just my olive branch to my white audience. Just know that I'm tapped in. You know what I'm saying? I be tapped into your white content creators, and I consider these my friends. These are my Broski O'Donnell and all of them. That's my team, man. They've gotten me through these conversations. They've gotten me through these motherfucking shows and whatnot. So I rock with people that rock with themselves, bro. If you stand on truth and stand on your business, I don't give a fuck if you're blue or pink in the face. It don't matter. I'm a fair type of person. You know what I mean? Because people may not understand me, but I'm very fair. I'm super fair. If I hated any type of people, you would never see them on my channel. I don't have hate in my blood. Because when you get hate in your blood, it makes you sick. You got to deal with that. You get wrinkles and you age faster. I would never hate anybody. I hate the way that our people get treated in this motherfucker. I hate the simulation, the way that the simulation is set up. But at the end of the day, it's a love-hate type of thing. It makes me stronger. It doesn't the suffrage or the sufferation is still a part of the journey, bro. Nigga, it's still a part of the journey. It's like, do you hate going to the gym? Yeah, but it gives you results. It's the part of the journey. The all of that. You know what I mean? All of that is to make us stronger. So if white people were not who they were, my mind wouldn't be as sharp as it is. If they wasn't crashing out the way that they've been crashing out in the past 30 years, nigga, then I would not have a perspective. I wouldn't be smart as I am. You know what I mean? It's just being in the simulation, bro. So I'm the observer. I've learned, I've matured to become the observer in this whole simulation. Once I realized that this shit is a fucking video game, once I realized this is simulation, once I realized that it's all pixels, I don't take none of this personal. But shout out to all of my grays and my white folk out here crashing out. I fucks with that. I respect that. Keep crashing.
I'm being serious when I ask this, but how do you put Miss Rachel at number 2? Y'all know who I'm talking about, Miss Rachel? With the pink shirt and the suspenders? Hi, friends! Icky, sticky, sticky, sticky bubblegum, Miss Rachel. How you put her at number 2 on a top 10 list of anti-Semites for 2025? That's right, I'm gonna say it again. They put Miss Rachel at number 2 on a list of top 10 anti-Semites for the year, and they didn't even chart Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes didn't even make the top 10, but they put Miss Rachel on there. What are we talking about here? What are we doing? What is happening right now? Let's look back on Miss Rachel's year. What'd she do? She released a video explaining to kids how to potty train. She said we shouldn't starve children to death. And then she threw a birthday party for a girl with no legs. Apparently, that is enough to be listed as the number 2 top 10 anti-Semite of the year. Nick Fuentes didn't chart. Elon Musk, remember this is 2025 we're talking about. Elon Musk did a silly with his arm. Remember that? His heart went out to us. His AI started calling itself Mecha Hitler. Elon Musk, not in the top 10. But you know who is? Miranda from Sex and the City. Yes, I'm fucking serious. This entire list is not done by a real organization. It's done by one lady. Her name is Leora Rez. She tries to pretend she's a big, massive organization, but she's not. She's a desperate housewife. Not to be confused with the desperate housewife Marsha Cross, who is also on this list instead of Nick Fuentes. Here's the thing. Leora Rez is mad at Miss Rachel because Miss Rachel's been raising money for Save the Children, a foundation that wants to, quote, save children. So here is what I'm asking you right now. If you have some extra bucks, go check out Save the Children. Check out their mission. They do more than just stuff in the Middle East. They help people out throughout the entire world. If you have a couple bucks here as we're entering Giving Tuesday, go toss a few bucks their way. Trust me, you'll be a much better person than Leora Rez and her awfully Botoxed forehead.
Classic. Yeah, Carrot Top is going up. Bruh. My mission is life is to make more white people crash out. I figured this shit out. This is what we've been missing. This is what America's been missing. I didn't know what it was. 2025, the year that white folks started crashing out. We have been fucking missing this forever. They took it out of the textbooks, ladies and gentlemen. They told us about Paul Revere. They told us about all of this stuff. Andrew Jackson. They didn't tell us about white people crashing out. We didn't see that in the movies, mind you. We saw, Jack worked all day and no play. We was watching The Shining where Jack Nicholson was chopping the door down. We saw a lot of shit, but we did not see white folk crash out on them on their own. This is like a fucking pastime right here. I think this is what we've been missing, bro. If more white people will crash out, that will help y'all karma, and we won't have to go through some of the things that y'all be having nightmares about, thinking that we're gonna go through when we take over. Nah, y'all need to start atoning right now and crash the fuck out on each other, because that's how you do it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's music to my ears. Yeah, that part. You know what I mean? Y'all too cool for me. Start crashing, niggas. 1,000.
Brand new purple light, brand new purple light, friends, facts, brand new purple light, friends, red and blue, purple light, friends, facts. Get to know the ledger, sacrilegious Sunday to Melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger, my love. Just open your third eye on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes. The Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I opened my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we're stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah. We gon' put this shit on our back. Facts, facts. We in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts. Peace, love and light. Peace, love to the family. Peace, love and light to the family. Peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you, and it's going to provoke you, and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.